Do we need to do a mic check, or are we good?
We're good. Testing, 1, 2. We're about ready to go live. Hey, guys out there in the internet.
Hello, internet.
We're getting ready to go
Peoples.
live here for Get the You Factor. We figured we'd change perspective, show you a little bit more of the studio.
Really cool. We have our Maximilian controlling. He's our engineer.
Working on the controls.
He's the magic man behind the scenes that controls the knobs and all the sounds and effects and commercials and all that.
The brains behind the operation.
Yep.
Working the magic.
Working the magic. Gotta love it.
28 seconds.
All right, we're getting started here in 20 seconds.
God, time flies.
Ready to rock it?
Ready to rock.
Let's do this.
10 seconds.
Welcome to Get the You Factor with Mike Driggers and Nicholas Fordham. What is it that holds you from achieving greatness? Does greatness just come to those that are struck by lightning or have just hit that lucky streak? What really does make people achieve everything they want out of life? These questions span across the globe as millions of people settle into their life thinking that they don't have what it takes to truly get what they want out of life. Simply put, most people just give up on their dreams and aspirations to move forward with the repetitious habits that have been cemented in and around their lifestyle. Is this because they don't have what it takes to achieve their goals? The answer is no. You do have what it takes to accomplish anything you truly desire, and it starts with finding your inner you. With Get the You Factor, we go step by step in educating you on the key principles to achieve anything you want out of life. By tapping into our resources and following along with our weekly broadcast, we will guide you through a journey of self-awareness and self-improvement. We will take you deep into your mind to determine what your mental blocks are that are holding you back from your true potential. You do have what it takes, and we are here to help you prove it to yourself. How's it going this week, Mike?
Fantastic. It's been a great week. Celebrated Memorial weekend here, and really had a great time with family and friends, and just kind of appreciate what our soldiers and men and women out there that fight for our freedom to allow us to do what we do here today. So it was a great weekend, and Friday night I went on a date night with Gabby, and
Excellent.
we went and saw the movie $1 Million Arm, which was a really great movie. It's a true story for folks that have not seen that movie. It's this talent scout or agent, sports agent, that is struggling to find the next big player or somebody that he can manage. I guess from my understanding, he left a company to start his own with a friend, and they ran out of new clients that are big names, and he's chasing one, and it's so funny to watch because through the movie he's chasing after this illusion of somebody that is dangling a carrot in front of him, like, if you do this for me, I'll come to the table. And he has to do it because he's got to survive, and they don't know what they're doing. And what I got from the movie, because I don't want to tell the whole movie, is they go to India to find some talent, untapped areas where nobody's been, to find these pitchers. And but what was interesting is that in the movie, you could see the challenges and the frustration. And I've talked about how when there is an issue and when you think about it and you meditate on it, there's always solutions that enter and appear out of nowhere. I've always liked to say that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Mm-hmm. And then it comes up with the ideas, and then even though he came up with the idea was the difficulty. Now you got the dream, now you got to go into the struggle before you get the victory, right? And even through the process, what the struggle to, one, to find the financing, 2 to get the commitments, 3 to get over there in India, and what they had to do, and again, it's a true story, and the outcome, what he had to do and fight to get to the victory, but all through that process, who he became as a person. You saw him from this cocky type person that eventually phased into a whole different personality and lifestyle from where he started to where he is. And again, I've talked about this too in the previous shows that, success isn't the end destination, it's the journey to. That is the true success, who you become, what you do, or what you experience, right? Or even in failure. I've had tremendous successful failures, right? I call them stepping stones to success. I love failures. I embrace them because they teach me how to be more successful. And I've told people, you want to be successful, go out there and fail quickly and as much as you can, because success will come twofold by doing so. And so watching the failures and the risks and the mindset and what he had to go through to get to the end and the victory and really what he got out of it. And it's an amazing story. And even these guys that come over to America don't speak English, never, they're learning different things. And, there's a part in the movie where he's playing with the elevator. He keeps putting his hand out every time the door shuts and the door's open and they're tripping out on it, right?
Yeah.
Or even pizza. Like they don't have pizza and he falls in love with pizza, right? And so there's some really good principles in the movie, and I encourage anybody to go see it, do so. It's a great movie, and I always love, one thing you'll learn about, I know you know about me, but the audience, is I'm a big movie buff. I love watching movies. I don't watch much TV, but movies I do, and especially if they've got true stories, because there's a lot of principles and things that you can learn from these movies. And so that's what I did this weekend. How about yourself?
Well, a lot of fun in the sun, some barbecuing, and one particular individual I ended up striking a conversation with. He's actually here on leave. He re-enlisted in the military. He's from Guantanamo Bay, and so he dealt with a lot of the real harsh criminals. His particular section was people that may have given up somebody or given up specific information, and so to protect them, they'd go to that place over in Guantanamo Bay, and he was a guard that would be there to take care of these people. And we started talking about different things, and it was kind of an emotional time because he had just separated from his girlfriend at the moment before I started talking to him, and so we kind of got deep in a few different things, and turned out to be an amazing guy. And he brought up the point that a lot of these veterans, these people that basically serve our country, and they're the reason why we have freedom of speech. They're the reason why we have a lot of the freedoms that we do here in this world right now, here in America. And he brought up the fact that they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on the training and education and everything to get these soldiers out there. But when they come home, they don't get anything.
There's no any money on it.
There's no education in coming home. And I started talking to him about GetTheYouFactor and just, some of the different topics and subjects that we bring up. He was actually pretty impressed because, even though it's not a lot as far as a training, but it's something. Different topics and different things that we bring up are ways that, you should traditionally take on things and think about things. And I didn't even think about the mind of a veteran coming home, and being completely separated from reality and coming back to America and figuring out how to deal with anger, how to deal with, saying I'm sorry.
Right.
Some of the topics and things that we go through in the show, and today's topic, 25 elements of an emotionally healthy life. I mean, these things are things that, definitely, if you know a veteran that's out there, somebody that just returned, send them to our show. Who knows that extra little tip of knowledge or information that we bring up, may definitely help them in that transition and making it a little easier to come home.
It's funny you say that because it is so true. And you hear about the war stories and the things that happen with people and the depression that they bring back. And some people thrive and move forward and others have a hard time, and there's really not that resources for them. Personal development is that resource. If they can get their mind and focused and get rid of the garbage that's in there with new positive and reinforced with that on an ongoing basis, you can change the way people think. And one of the things is one person can make an impact in the whole world. So if you do know somebody and we change that person's life, what if? I learned something the other day, and I don't remember if I mentioned this on the show, but Teddy Roosevelt was known as one of the most well-educated and smartest presidents in history, yet he didn't have a college education. He went to his local library, and I believe it's in Minnesota, and he read every single book in that library, is what they've said. And a lot of people that have been around him said that he wasn't college educated, but his education, he was so educated, and it was because of the personal development. It was because of the books that he read, and yet he was the president of the United States. And again, one thing can change and impact the whole world. If someone comes to this show, gets one nugget, one thing that puts them on the path to where now what they do impacts the rest of the world, right? So you look at the guy with Facebook. Look at what he's done, Mark Zuckerberg, right? And what he's done with Facebook and the communication in the world. There's so many examples of this, Teddy Roosevelt, right? The president. So, it's just that one person, if we can change their life. That's why I do this show. This is why I write the books. If I can just change one person's life that can impact millions and millions of people, then I'm all about it. Ongoing, I'm always going to do this.
Well, speaking of education, be sure to go to GetTheYouFactor.com. Sign up for the website. There is a free version where you can keep up with any of the worksheets and information that we talk about in our radio show. But for those of you that want more as far as education, you want to get a little bit more out of finding the winning ways, getting your champion's mindset, 365 goal sets where you learn about different goals to set each day out of the year, resolve to make a resolution in your revolution. All of that content, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of content, is yours in the back end of GetTheYouFactor.com for only $97 a year. So for those of you that are listening, be sure to go on the website, even if it's just to sign up for the free version and follow along with our radio show with the content that we talk about, or go in all the way and really feed your mind, feed your soul, feed your education of, taking yourself to that other level and positivity in your life with the content that we provide to you. Again, definitely check it out. So today, as always, we're going to go into positive affirmation from the book Mastering the Mindset, The Power of Affirmations by Mike Triggers. And remember, as always, with your positive affirmation, you're going to want to say it to yourself 3 times a day in front of the mirror. Be sure if you're in the car that you are parked on the side of the road or in a parking spot, in front of the mirror in the bathroom, maybe in a mirror in the hallway in your house. So today's affirmation is, my creativity grows each day. Again, my creativity grows each day. Opportunities abound for me to use my creative energy. I'm confident in my ability to look at situations in a new light and to create what I want in my life. Because I practice these things and because creativity is my birthright, my creativity grows each day. For some, creating may mean doing traditional arts. They may paint, sculpt, dance, or write, while I may also participate in some of these activities. I manifest creative energy in each part of my life. When I'm at work, I think of new ways to troubleshoot tasks. In my home life, I find efficiencies in ways I clean so that I can spend less time working and more time playing. I'm always looking for new ways to grow. As I seek and find them, I nurture my creativity. Sometimes my creativity expands without even my conscious intention. I find myself full of new ideas while doing some repetitive activity like showering or scrubbing dishes. I go to sleep thinking about a challenge I have, and when I wake in the morning, I have the solution. As time passes, these creative bursts happen with increasing frequency. If I feel stumped by a challenge, I think hard on the situation for a while. Then I let go and focus on other things. Before long, an answer arrives, often something I had not considered before. This is my creativity manifesting again. Because I'm often engaged in problem solving, I get to use these tools to grow my creative energy daily. Today, I notice the free flow of my creativity. I am excited by all the possibilities presented by this infinite energy to which I have access to. As I practice using this limitless resource, my creativity grows each day.
So as we end the affirmation, we always end with self-reflection questions, questions that you go away and you ask yourself, and I want you to reflect on throughout the day, as well as a quote that I want you to focus and think about and how to apply into your life. So the self-reflection question is, 1, recently, when has my creative energy manifest most strongly? Again, recently, when has my creative energy manifested most strongly? Number 2, are there any parts of my life in which I feel stuck? Again, are there any parts of my life in which I feel stuck? And number 3, how can I apply my creativity to these situations? Again, how can I apply my creativity to these situations? And the quote for the day is, if a window of opportunity appears, don't pull down the shade. Tom Peters. You know, that's a great book and great affirmation for today. And as we go to a radio break here, commercial break, we're going to come back and talk about 25 elements of an emotional healthy life and really what does that mean. So make sure to plug back in and listen to the show here at GetTheYouFactor.com, but also at the OneTalkNetwork.com. Either way, you can get access to our information. And so we'll talk to you here soon when we get back from commercial break. Thank you.
We'll see you guys.
See you in a bit.
So one of the benefits for those of you that are watching online is that you get to see our commercial breaks. You get to see what goes on behind the scenes when Bill walks in, or we've got Max here working on the audio and taking us to commercial, and you get to see behind the scenes all of this. So at the same time, you also have access to the actual radio show because we've got the podcasting loaded up for the back end of the radio show on the back end of GetTheYouFactor.com. So for those of you that are watching, you're most likely there on GetTheYouFactor.com. Be sure to create a membership. Sign up. Get inside, take advantage of all the tools and resources that we have back there, but also all of the additional things that we give you to go along with the show to make sure that you get your You Factor.
Get the You Factor.
It's been dropping a lot. I tried down the street. Don says it's the phone now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was on my iPod sometimes when I listen to it.
Man, go.
Yeah, like the little buffering thing keeps like go like keep doing that.
Yeah.
So we'll come back from break. We'll talk about, what is an emotionally healthy life, right? There's health for your body, but what about your mind?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that, and then here are the different ideas or whatever. I didn't even see if trying to post on Facebook and wouldn't let me for some reason. I don't know why.
That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. is your post? Yeah. Good. So it put it up. That's weird. Okay, someone text me. Oh, that's weird. How can you spoof a cell phone? Like calls and it looks like the number's coming from
Someone else?
someone else.
Oh, there's apps you can get for that.
Really?
Yeah.
You can
My
call.
friend had one of those, like, you can also change your voice too. We messed with so many people.
Oh, really? So you could call someone and
Yeah.
it would look like it was calling from them and it's someone totally different.
Yeah, you could
Wow.
do some Jerky Boys stuff. You remember the Jerky Boys?
Oh yeah, back in the day. those yeah, that was funny. The crank calls.
Yeah.
I remember those. Whatever happened to those guys?
I don't know.
And they used to do some crazy stuff too.
Yeah, they did.
26.
All right.
Right?
Yeah, like I would call people with like, make it look like I'm calling for someone else's phone. I'm like, they pick up the phone, just like, why is this guy calling me?
Welcome back to Get the You Factor with Mike Driggers and Nicholas Fordham. You know, I want to give a special thanks to One Talk Network and OneMusicNetwork.com for having us on their show. We are actually broadcasted worldwide through One Talk Network online radio. We've got the amazing Maximilian here, part of the One Music Network and One Talk Network. He's in charge of the commercials, the breaks, and pretty much everything, the brains behind the operation. So we want to thank you for that. And for those of you that are watching online, you can see him via video. If you go to GetTheYouFactor.com, there's Mr. Max himself. So today we're talking about 25 elements of an emotionally healthy life. And I got to tell you, you know, myself personally, I'm not perfect. One of the ways I learn is by doing this show. Each and every week, you know, we go over different topics. And I tell you, every one of these shows, there's something that I personally take away and use in my personal life. And so
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about this particular episode because I got to tell you, I don't have an emotionally healthy life.
You got a lot of things going on, a lot of chaos, right? Character building moments. That's what I call
Character
them.
building
Character
moments.
building moments. You know, and you know, what is an emotionally healthy life? You know, a lot of people, it's not about exercise. Although that's important, right? You want to keep your body healthy, and the healthier you are, the longer you live, right? It's just like a vehicle. If you don't change the oil or the spark plugs, and you just keep driving over time, in the tires, it starts falling apart, right? Well, that's your body does that, but so does your mind. If you're not emotionally keeping your mind healthy, and there's some different tips and tricks, and you're right when we talk about that. You learn from the show. Every show that we've done, I've learned something valuable or reinforce something I was thinking about, and I always, again, have that saying, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, right? And our show is that. And one of my mentors have always told me that if you want to master something, go teach it.
Yep.
Right, because then you become the master of it, and that's what that show and our show allows us to do, is master the things that we're teaching folks. And when I'm out there speaking, or you're out there speaking and living our lives, we live by this. Not only are we telling you, but we're actually learning and doing. Like, for example, I said a couple shows back, we talked about having a date night. It was with Teresa that was on the show, and she talked about the importance of date night. And I remember I used to have that with Gabby, and it disappeared just because of chaos and life and all kinds of things. And so last week we had our first, we went back to having our date night and went to Chili's, and we sat at the bar and ate and just had a really good time. And then we went to the movies, and then we came home, and we had a fantastic date. And it was because that show made me feel that, I really need to to reinforce that and get back into it. And so today's show is, what are some things that you can do to help with the emotional status and creating that emotionally healthy life? And, one of them is that friends. I think friends are a big part of that. And they also can be a big part of the negative side, right?
Yeah.
The people that you hang out with, you become the average of. If you think about it, that's why trends start so easy. Back when the Simpsons come out, you remember that everybody's all dope, right? Dope. Everybody was saying that, or what's the beef? Show me the beef, right? The commercial and all these trends, and everybody starts.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or Budweiser, right? There were those frogs, right? So these trends happen, and they typically happen really quick in the network you hang out with. And so one is you having a good set of friends, someone that reinforces you and they support you in what you do, and and socialize. Get out and socialize with your friends. You
meet new ones.
Right, exactly. Meet some new friends, right? I think that's a big part of it, and is that you want to go out there and meet new friends because you can learn things from others, and maybe they have an experience or an expertise that you may call upon, or just maybe it's someone that has a good ear and you can talk to, right? You just never know.
And surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded like yourself, that are going after things in life, that are reaching for something greater than where they're at right now. If you've got a set of friends that are, they've always been the same way, they're never going to change, add a few new ones, because it's going to help you to average that out and become who you are or who you want to be.
Right. Another one, speaking of friends, is also family, having a loving family. Now, that doesn't mean that you've got to, if you're single, you've got to go out and find a girl and or guy and create a family. It could be your mom and dad, it could be your uncles and aunts, or it could be your closest friends that's part of your family, right? Because they will help you in many trying times. They're there to support you and give you guidance and recognize that that maybe you need a little bit of help. And so in that, having access to a family that you can call upon, and we're so sped up in society today. The one thing I liked about this weekend is I could sit down and emotionally unplug and just talk about life, right, with friends. And we did that with a little barbecue, a couple of friends. I met a new friend, right? But we just sat there and unplugged and didn't talk about anything, just what's going on in life and general things, and just having that support. Another one is creating a hobby. That helps. A lot of times, just find a hobby, right? Because that can help you in relaxing.
Yes.
Right. It also keeps your mind active, right? And everybody has some type of hobby, and a healthy person provides for the time and space to supply for the supplies that they need when they work out. Well, make sure you have supplies and things for your hobbies. Hobbies that I like. I love golfing, right? I've been in the martial arts since I was 5 years old, and even though I don't practice it as much, it's a hobby I love. I read magazines about martial arts, or watch things, or fishing. I love fishing, right? That's probably one of my favorites. So I like looking at the new things for fishing and watching fishing shows, and I just kind of unplug and helps me relax the mind and learn something new sometimes when fishing and going out there and just being out on the water, right? What hobbies do you have?
I'm into weapons. I like going to the shooting range and going out, letting out some of the aggression sometimes there, and archery, stuff like that. I like working out. I know it's something that you need to do personally, but I put myself through college as a personal trainer, and so I know a lot about working out, and I've been really focusing on trying to get myself back into that regimen and getting really into it, and so it's
Which
kind
is
of a
another
hobby
tip
for me as well.
Right. Well, and that's another tip in itself, is regular exercise,
Mm-hmm.
right? It helps reduce the stress, right? Not only does it promote physical wellness, but it also plays in the emotions because of the endorphins and the things that happen in the mind that help you in all kinds of ways in creating the juices through the body and so on. And so that I believe is a critical part as well, is having a good regular exercise, whether it's just to take a walk 30 minutes a day or every day. You know, it gives you that emotional charge that you need and gives you time to think and apply. Then, you know, one of the other things is what we were talking about earlier is about learning.
Oh yeah, you're never too old to stop learning.
No, matter of fact, if you're not, you know, if I have a garden and I don't keep feeding it sunshine and water, that garden eventually is going to disappear. Right? And your mind is no different. You've got seeds of greatness within you. And if you're not watering or applying the sunshine, which is constantly learning, you know, and going out there and finding new things to learn about, you know, it just by doing that, and maybe, and we've talked about this on the show before, that it doesn't even have to be in the industry or expertise that you are or whatever. Just learn something new.
Learn how to canoe.
Right, exactly, right.
Learn a new hobby.
I was out there learning how to do sushi and how to make sushi. So, and I'll tell you what, I'm not very good at it, but I've learned some things and I'm getting better at it. So, you know, learning's pretty critical to what you do. Another way is to play word games, right? Do you ever play any word games?
Oh yeah. What's that? Scrabble.
Scrabble.
You know,
right?
we play Scrabble here and there, and yeah.
There's this app called Wordplay.
Yeah,
right?
the play with the friends.
Yeah,
the
and you
word-
play. Yeah, and you go back and forth. And so I play with Gabby and the kids, and we're always, you know, doing things. The one thing I like about that app is it is somewhat relaxing, but it also, I learned some pretty cool things, some new words, and you know, it's an engagement. It makes my mind think. See, that's the thing, is that we talked to. If you're not feeding the mind, this is one of the ways to do that. Right, is to feed the mind with some type of activity, and playing a game like that helps.
Well, for me, it was kind of like Angry Birds. It took over my whole life, and so I had to let it go for a second.
Yeah, I think everybody got caught up in that, right? Angry Birds was pretty popular. So, and then I got the stuffed birds and figured that I could throw those easier, and I could do it on my phone, right? Because you go to the store and they got these stuffed birds in the at the store that they would sell, the big red one, the little green. I figured out I'll just grab them and throw them at the kids. Or
I know you're the type of guy that you create all the obstacle courses and stuff at home, and you're like setting it up. All right, I'm gonna knock this down to make this happen to hit the kid in the face on this side.
Exactly. I didn't need a slingshot. It was me.
It was Angry Bird.
I got an Angry Bird for you. Let me throw it at you. Another one is, you know, which I think society has forgotten about and that is go out there and get to know your neighbors, right? Knowing your neighbors. Become acquainted with your neighbors. You never know when you might need their help or when they might need yours. Plus, it's an opportunity to meet someone new, right? Get to know.
Oh yeah, I actually did that this last week. I come home and I'm like, wow, I'm not the loudest house on the neighborhood. And my neighbors, they were just rocking it, and you know, it was just this grooving music. And so I peered over there, found out what's going on, and turned out it was a graduation party. But man, they were getting down. They were playing some Jamaican music.
Oh, really?
And you know, I've never heard some quite like that, and really felt good to the soul and the rhythm of it, and I enjoyed it. Met some new people.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, you know, because you meet another culture, and it expands your horizon. You learn something new, right? I mean, even talking to the gentleman that's the vet. And Guatemala Bay and all the stuff that you've picked up from him, that knowledge.
I would have never known any of that if I didn't speak up.
Yeah, exactly.
Step outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah, and you just, that's the thing, you learn so much, right? You should never stop learning. Matter of fact, my car is like university on wheels. It's literally, you get in my car and it's nothing but education, right? I'm always learning something. And here's a good source for you. Maybe, you know, if you're getting into personal development on a slower level, subscribe to Success Magazine. You can go to the bookstores and online. Success Magazine, that comes every single month. They interview great people, has great articles, but it also comes with a CD. And I've been listening to the CD for this week, and it tells the story about this lady that had lost her job, 30 years of age, got in a bad divorce, has a young one, and got so caught up in depression that she almost committed suicide.
Oh, it can take over everything.
It does. But she also used that depression to make us very, very successful woman. And when we get back from commercial break, I'm going to finish telling that story because it's powerful, and I learned this through Success Magazine. So we're going to go to commercial break here at GetTheYouFactor.com and One Talk Network and One Music Network. And so we'll see you as soon as we get back from break. Bye for now.
See you soon.
We've only gotten through 8.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to break it up a little bit,
Yeah,
throw in some stories. And
No, I think, as we move forward, I think that this is the way that we do that, right?
yeah. And leave all the content in the members area so that, man, I can't believe how much content we've got back there.
We're not even done, dude.
Wow. You spent thousands on all that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we haven't even, there's so much more.
And so you've got writers that write for you. And
All
you've
the
been
time.
storing this up for
4 years, 5 years.
I thought I was the webmaster, the web guru.
I did? When did I talk about women?
There was something you said about women in there. You were talking about.
I didn't even notice that.
So remember to register on GetTheYouFactor.com.
Huh. Yeah, that's probably what I did. That's funny. I don't remember subliminal, but yeah. Matter of fact, I've just started co-authoring another book with Rick Chavez,
Nice.
and
Why is that name so familiar?
he's the one that's the sports announcer.
Oh.
Was for the 49ers and the Sharks and all of that. Yeah, so we've been co-authoring a book. So that's my next book after the launch of this one,
Barbara Corcoran.
Barbara Corcoran, and then
And she's a Shark Tank one.
Right.
The short gray hair.
short, yeah, but she's the billionairess in real estate.
Yeah, she kind of has that attitude like, all right, I'll let you guys all fight it all out.
Yeah.
But when you're done, I'm going to take over.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Got like $5 billion. in,
Yeah.
Real estate assets, yeah, and so she's that book,
That's
Entrepreneurs
billion
on
with
Fire.
a B, right?
Yeah, big B, big, very big B, right? So, and I don't mean her butt. I'm talking billions
In dollars.
dollars, right? So, but
That's exciting, man.
yeah. So but I've got probably 4 other books right behind it.
Wow.
So we need to co-author a book.
Yeah,
We need-
I've got a Pursuance of Passion. I put some more time into that over
Did
the
you?
weekend, and
Good. Got to get it out, dude.
I'm really excited to get that going. And so that's the next
Get it out.
website. I want to just kind of spruce up a little and have like a little landing page just to create a lead capture.
You know what we do is to help you with that book is let's go find people we can interview because it fits right without in that,
Yeah.
right? And we can take those interviews and from the person and put it in, take the article and or have
yeah,
it transcribed,
absolutely.
and now your book's done. That'll speed up the process,
Yeah.
right?
40 seconds.
So, but yeah, I want to actually start a book series with Get the You Factor.
Oh, that'd be hot.
Just a book series too, where we take different interviews and mindset, from different topics,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we just pick one of our topics and add in that, and then whatever authors co-author with several people. So
12 seconds.
12 seconds.
Welcome back to Get the You Factor with Mike Driggers and Nicholas Fordham. So, Mike, you were talking a little bit about what you read on success.
Yeah, actually, it was through a CD that I had heard this.
Gotcha.
So when we left a commercial, we talked about here's a lady, 30 years of age, well educated, been through a bad divorce, laid off, no job, and because of the economy and everything, has a young gal and got to the point where she almost committed suicide, and she got so involved in the emotions and depression and let it take her over. But then she started using it to her advantage, because what she said is that she had hit rock bottom, and at rock bottom there's nothing else, that you strip away everything, so you have nothing worse than what you are right there, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of times we emotionally cover up things. Well, she hit rock bottom, but she used that emotion to go change her life. And because she did, and comes back to what we talked about earlier in the show, one person can make a difference. This same lady is the one that she's touched everyone's life at some way, somehow. And she's done it because she was the author of the books with the magic and on the hobbits and all that other stuff. What's the name of the
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
She's the author behind that, and has made millions. She's a multi-millionaire. Matter of fact, it's known that she has more money than the Queen right now. She lives in England.
Wow.
And yet she wrote that in her worst moments in her life, and she went and tried to get it published. Here's the struggle. He got the dream. Now she goes to try to get it published. She was being turned down everywhere. Then this one publisher, a small publisher, was convinced to publish it by his 8-year-old daughter. And that 8-year-old daughter convinced him, and today Harry Potter's multi-trillion-dollar product line, right? And you've seen the movies, you got DVDs, you got all the toy, everything. But she came from a point of rock bottom to create that.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's that story happens from most people, like Toshiro Honda, the guy, the creator of Honda.
Oh yeah.
You know, he basically started in being kicked out of his house on his own, you know, and it was a very poor family. And you know, he went and he was an apprentice for a mechanic, and he also worked on bicycles. And he put the two and two together and created the motorcycle. That started to become successful. But even after he created the motorcycle, he got, I think it was over 100 no's before he finally got a yes for someone that said yes, they'd invest in Honda Motors. And Honda Motors is what it is today. And you know, it's crazy that people in the world of entrepreneurialism, just when they're about to make it, they let that depression or they let that hardship or frustration that's going on in their life consume them.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the fear of failure is what holds everyone back. And what I tell people is to embrace that. Don't be afraid to fail. Right? Because that is your success steps. Those are the failures are stepping stones to success, right? And that holds people back all the time. And is that fear, those 4-letter words, which we talked about on the show. But as we move forward in the show today, we're talking about, you know, the 25 elements to create an emotionally healthy life. And one of the things that we left off with, which I tend to like, right, is I love hot tubs, right? And I love to just get in a hot tub and relax. But, you know, women love bubble baths. And it allows you to relax and let your mind wander and think about whatever you like, right? And make your time that count. Just relax and let your mind expand and go from there, and enjoy the bubbles. But like, I love hot tubs, and I love just
It's
relaxing.
meditation.
Absolutely.
You know, you get your mind in a different place, you know, and that time you can think about what's really going on, let your thoughts settle. And then once your thoughts have settled, you figure out what you need to speak up about and what you need to just let go and not worry about anymore, you know, because there's times when you do need to speak up in life and there's times when you need to let go. And so being in that meditative state, it allows you to figure out in those decisive points or actions in your life, when to take those actions that you need to. And you know, if you don't meditate about it, or if you don't sit, like I like to sit by, I got a waterfall in my backyard. There's a little pond. And so sitting there next to that and listening to the water running allows me to kind of gather my thoughts and figure out, okay, for all these different things that are going on in my life, where do I need to make these decisions to speak up about these things, and where do I need to make these decisions to just let go and not worry about it anymore and know that it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's you just mentioned speak up, right? I think that's important too. A lot of people hold things in when somebody says something to them and they know it's not right, or they're afraid to say anything because of conflict. The problem with that is it can be a disease if you hold it in, right? You know, and listen, if it's okay to disagree, right? Yeah. You both agree to disagree. So, and it's okay to do that with someone. Just, you know, let them know your thoughts and feelings in a positive manner. Don't you know, use the anger management show that we had, but come at them with your opinion in a positive way. But most importantly, which is the next thing I would say, is let go, right? If you have feelings that are less than helpful for you because of something that happened, I can't tell you how many people hold a grudge.
Yep.
Right. What is the purpose of holding that grudge? That person doesn't care, right? It's going to start deteriorating you because you dwell on it. You dwell on a negativity, and that negative thought just runs through your body, and it just starts tearing you down, and you become unhealthy in the mind. And so you've learned to let go. Doesn't mean that what they did was right or wrong. Right? And in your opinion, it's wrong, obviously, if you're holding on to it and you've got a grudge. But the only one that's getting hurt is you by holding on to it. Let it go and understand that there was something that happened, but don't dwell on it, right? It's not worth the negativity that it does to you, which then brings me to the next one. Respect yourself, right? I mean, you've got to learn to respect yourself, although, you know, it takes some effort sometimes, because society has just pounded on us, and sometimes people don't have respect, or it could also be in a negative way, right? That person disrespected me. They don't understand what that true word means, respect, right? And so it can come in a negative way as well, that this person disrespected me. And really understanding what that means, respect yourself. Before you can have anybody respect you, you need to respect yourself. Be who you are, appreciate who you are, and what you do, and who you are, you know, in general. I think that then leads to respecting others, right? That's important.
Well, you know, even you talk about just around in general, but in a relationship, you know, in your workplace, you know, you've got to respect yourself.
Absolutely.
And you've got to respect others, but you've got to know where that fine line is of whether to speak up or whether to let go.
Exactly. And going back to the let go, right? I mean, you've got to let go. Now, one of the things that I think is important too is keep your promises, right? This helps in an emotional state, that if you promise something or to do something, follow through, commit.
Yeah. Make sure you deliver upon your promises, and you know, be confident about it. And you know, I personally have the issue where I overpromise and underdeliver at times. As a web developer, technology guy, you know, I get so many projects going on, and then, you know, one program over here where I'm coding it messes up everything else, and it creates the domino effect. And so, you know, I myself am personally learning on how to make sure I don't overpromise and underdeliver.
It's important. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. I don't know what happened. So, you hear it ribbit? Anyways.
I did.
It's so funny because I'm over here choking. I'm all here, take over, take over. I'm dying. So, not only that, what does it tell people when you don't keep a promise? Right? They start thinking you're flaky. And here's the thing is that a lot of times it's not even really that you were not wanting to keep the promise. Sometimes you're so giving that you overpromise so much that then it starts falling apart,
Yep.
right? And people then start judging you, and so now you carry that judgment because you think about, man, I'm upset, or I didn't do what I was supposed to, and God, I feel bad, and so now you carry that guilt.
Yep.
Right, and it starts to deteriorate, but at the same time, now you've got people that think something. So limit the amount of promises that you keep, right, or stretch out the timeline to do it. Another tip would be confident, right? When you believe that you can do something, and you can, believe in yourself and have confidence, right? So if you believe you can have that done in that date, go for it, do it, but just make sure you do it.
Yeah.
Right? So having confidence, I think, is also critical. Another is create a what I call a sanctuary, right? I have at my house, it's a theater room, right? I have these leather seats and the big old screen TV, right? And this is my sanctuary because I'm a movie buff. I love watching movies, right? And especially positive ones, as I mentioned before. But I go in there and I just relax and unwind. I unplug. It allows me to not think. So I think it's important to find your sanctuary room. Where would this be? Maybe it's in your car, right? At a park. Maybe you go to a park. It's important because it helps relax the mind. Again, we're talking about the 25 elements of emotionally healthy life, and this is one of them.
Don't make your sanctuary the bar.
Yeah. No, we don't, because there is no.
That's emotionally unhealthy. I know firsthand.
I agree. Work. Be excited about work.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're not happy with your work, go out and find something that does make you happy. Go find the work that's going to make you feel good. One thing I'd heard at a younger age is that if you find something that you love to do, it's never considered work, right? Because you just love doing it regardless, right? I love what we do with this show and the people that it affects. And I don't know who out there is hearing this information, and I don't know if they're, who it's changing, or maybe it's not. But again, going back to that one person, if I can change one person this show today, then I've done my job. And that makes me feel good because I know what it's done for me and my life. Now, my life's not perfect. I have to use a lot of these. I use the affirmations. I do a lot of things. I have character building moments with a lot of situations. You and I have experienced them together with other folks that we were counting on that didn't deliver what they said they were going to do. And so life's part of it, but you've got to accept it. So be happy for your work and being able to get in and just work and do the best that you can. Always commit 120%. I always tell my son he's got a job now. He does magic tricks for an entertainment company, and so he's out there for the kids, young kids, doing magic tricks. He loves acting. He loves going out there and doing this stuff, and so I always tell him, put 120%, no matter what, right? Only if you get 25% back, always put 120. When I go up and speak on stage, I put 120% in. It doesn't matter if only 3 people are in the audience. I act like it's 3,000, right? And I give them the best and the most that I can. So I think that's critical. Next, do good deeds, right?
Yeah.
I think that's important, is to be able to do good deeds, and by helping others, you blossom, right? You feel good. Have you ever done something for someone and then just felt great about it?
Like you helped them out? Something that's coming up here shortly. It's a charity organization, Battle of the Badges. It's the police versus correctional officers, firefighters, and military, all in a boxing event for charity. And this is the 5th year now that, I go and I do what I would normally charge someone else, $5,000, $7,000 for, and I do it for free every year because, it does go to a good cause. It goes to multiple charitable organizations, SAC Fallen Officers, all kinds of different organizations that are out there. And, it feels good at the end of the day because you go to the event, you're like, wow, I did this and I was able to give back to the community.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's good. And so now you feel that contribution.
And people see it and you meet people and you network. And so in the end, it turns out to be, you get something out of it. Mm-hmm. But, you go in head first for, doing it to help the community.
Absolutely. And that leads to the next one is volunteer somewhere, right? Because, man, you get a perspective on life when you volunteer, whether it's at the VA hospital or if it's feeding the poor or where maybe it's at church, right? And somebody that comes in that just needs to talk to someone, right? So volunteer is a big part of it, and choose charity organizations. And folks, these are just a few of the 25 elements of emotional healthy life, and we're going to put this up as a downloadable. We're in the website. We've started to put these videos up and the past archive stuff, so you'll be able to get to this and download this ebook that also it has the 25. But because we're coming to the end of the show here, and one of the questions I want to ask you, Nicholas, is what did you get out of today's show, and most importantly, what do you hope that the audience gets from today?
Well, I know the biggest thing that I really got out of this is to really start going back to that perspective of thinking about myself and the actions that I take each and every day. We get so caught up in life and chaos and trying to do something for someone else or trying to become somebody else that we forget about who we are and who we are as individuals. And I think, just some of the tips that we do here, really does help you to find that balance and that emotionally stable life that we all look for and we all seek for on a daily basis. And, no one's perfect. And if they say they are, then they're absolutely not. And it's something that, I personally am learning on a daily basis. And that's really what I got out of it.
Good. Well, for me, I think what I got the most out of today's show is really understanding how to clear the mind. Mm-hmm. Right? Because going to even what you said, with everything that's going on, we create so much clutter in our mind that when you've got clutter, you can't have focus. You can't see. And so I think for me, especially in the last couple of weeks, because I've got speakers engagements coming up, it's been really stressful because I've got so many presentations I've had to create, and I've just been cluttered. My mind's been just so full that I need to take that moment, and that's what I did yesterday, was unplug and just relax, and it allows me to refresh and come back. So that's what I learned today, and I hope that the audience takes away that as well. It's time to clear the mind and walk away doing things to help emotionally create a healthy mind in the things that we're teaching today. And make sure you get this book. So we're going to go ahead and close out as we do. Nicholas?
Hey, we're here just to help you get your you factor. Awaken the inner you throughout the course of our educational radio video broadcast, combined with our online educational material and workshops. You will discover what has been hiding inside of you all along. Our program is built specifically for you to help you get what you want out of life. You will be presented with key fundamentals that will guide you through anything in life and help you to respond in a different way, a new way, a way you factor to be the best possible way for you. Resolve to make a resolution in your revolution. Set goals you can and will achieve. Discover a champion's mindset. Master persistence and pursue your passions. Empower your life with honesty and integrity. Manifest your reality with daily thoughts of action. Perception and awareness around you will flow with positivity. visualize your destiny, and go out and get it. It is our goal to change your life and the lives of those around you by empowering you with the knowledge to get exactly what you desire. We know that we can't change you or your habits or actions. All we can do is to provide you with everything you need to make that change. At the end of the day, it is up to you, and we are here to help. So now it is your decision to take decisive action and get the you factor.
Good show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.